Yo, what is up? What is good, ladies and gentlemen? We are finally out of Wano Country. And even though we have a break next week for One Piece, it does feel good. You gotta admit it. It does feel good to be finally done with Wano Country, albeit on a pretty... the epilogue, the closer for Wano Country, not what you would hope it would be, I think, on many fronts. With the last chapter particularly, honest to God. However, where are we going now? We have no idea. And that's fun. Elbath or Sphinx Island, Whitebeard's territory where Marco was at. Maybe we're going someplace brand new. That sense of adventure is back. Thank God. Following the log post for the first time in the new world. So I'm very excited to see where the story goes from here on out. But your boy is not done with Wano Country just yet. No. I promise you. I have videos planned, talk about Wano Country when it comes to theories, when it comes to character, when it comes to power scaling. So be on the lookout in the horizon for these videos. And of course, if you want to see my live stream reaction content to the chapters, you have to go where? To my cold Requiem channel, link in the box below to that channel. And of course, for the anime reaction content, you want to go where? To the Kingu-san channel for One Piece, Demon Slayer, and various other shows as well. Now, for this video for One Piece, you know the drill. We're gonna go step by step, piece by piece, break this down into three main categories: the pacing and the chapter structure, the character components of the chapter, and finally, of course, the story components for this chapter. And after that's all said and done, we're gonna have our final thoughts and a chapter rating to wrap the video up. But before we get to the actual chapter review and the story progression, I got to give a brief word to today's sponsor.
Lovely.
This video is brought to you guys and gals by none other than the Surfshark VPN. Consistently and repeatedly, over and over and over and over and over again, Surfshark VPN has been an outstanding VPN service for much cheaper than the rest of the competition out there, without a doubt, and it has very damn good features. Like, for example, the clean web feature that removes any phishing attempts, any malware, any malice that can come your way on the web. It can sweep and remove and protect your online privacy security no matter where you are in the world, considering how this service has servers that are located all over the world. Whether you have Android, whether you have iOS, whether you have Linux, whether you're using an Apple, whether you use a Mac, it doesn't matter what you have. Surfshark VPN has your back, even when you're going into the most dark and decrepit places of the internet. Furthermore, if you don't know, I myself do have region-gated content. It is what it is. But if folks want to get access to my own region-gated content, or even other region-gated content, whether it's on Netflix, Disney Plus, Hulu, whatever, you can easily use Surfshark VPN to gain access to that. Simply put in the region that you want to be located in, and then boom, just like that, you get access to that said region-gated content. So go in the description box down below. Use code KOL, that is KOL, to get 83% off and 3 months free off of your purchase of Surfshark VPN. Once again, check all that out. Link in the box below. And without a doubt, make sure to use code KOL. Thank you, Surfshark VPN, for being awesome, and now let's get on to the video at hand. So for this chapter of One Piece, we actually have surprisingly seven parts for this chapter. Number 1, On the Sunny Go, easy peasy. Number 2, Empty Bluffs. But then number 3 is a Mihawk flashback of him talking to Crocodile for the first time. Number 4 is a follow-up Buggy flashback when Crocodile is going to Empty Bluffs, meaning Buggy. Then number 5 is a third flashback of the Flyers of the Cross Guild being made in conjunction with the Marines giving out the bounties of the Cross Guild main members. Then number 6, of course, is back to Empty Bluffs in real time. The number 7 is Kamabaka Queendom with the Rev in conjunction with the new Marine Ford. So these are the 7 parts when it comes to pacing. At first I thought that there were not that many sections for this chapter because the way I saw it was that all the content on Empty Bluffs was one grandiose part. However, Oda does in fact shift from real time to flashbacks. And he does that three times in the Empty Bluffs section, which does make it a lot more complex, I would argue. So if you want to say that this whole Empty Bluffs part of the chapter is one grandiose bigger part, fine, I'm cool with that. But I'm gonna be a lot more technical, and I'm gonna say it's actually broken down into 5 subparts. Because again, we go from real time, flashback, real time for like a panel, then back to flashback, real time again, flashback. It happens several different times, and there's actually, within some of these flashbacks, 2 time skip forwards for the second flashback and the third flashback within the greater Empty Bluffs part. So yeah, I would argue that even though you can say it's one big part, I think it's actually more like 5 individual subparts. So the pacing of the overall chapter is, I think, solid, like okay, in my book personally. If there was one giant continuous flashback, it would be much better in terms of the chapter pacing and structure. But the focus is relatively the same for that part, therefore it's not necessarily a big throw off. So once again, the overall chapter pacing and structure is going to be, in my book, okay, it's solid. Now, number 2 is going to be the character components for this chapter. I'd argue the lion's share of the material for this chapter, and we're going to start off with none other than what some folks would deem to be the best girl in One Piece, Nami. Of course, not your boy, because Robin has that spot easy peasy. That being said, though, Nami. This one is more meme-ish, but I'll throw it in there just in case. Nami has, quote, conquerors haki. Woo! Now, I'm definitely not going to take this one to the bank. Not at all. I think it's Oda having fun, having a good time. Nami just being a fierce lioness, having to regulate Luffy's shenanigans. However, Oda is known, this is known, for making memes into a reality. So maybe in the future, there would actually be a Nami conquerors haki thingamabobber-ish. But again, I'm going to say that's just probably a meme. Though if it was real, you have to wonder why. And that involved her actual real parents, if that was the case. So that could actually lead to potentially some very good character stuff for Nami if it involved her actual real parents. But that being said, for a fact, we do know that Nami has a bounty raise. So Nami gets a 300 million berry bounty raise from 66 million. She now has a total of 366 million berries for her bounty. After this character is Chopper. Chopper gets a 900 berry raise from 100 to 1,000 berry. Muy bueno. Good. Keep Chopper where he is. Low. But to be fair, again, Chopper is the merch master of One Piece. So 1,000 berry, honest to God, is actually like $1,000, because there's probably some merch out there of Chopper that sells for easily $1,000, or the yen equivalent would be somewhere around 100,000 yen, because right now the dollar's it's skyrocketing, so probably a lot more yen than that. Now the Chopper is going to be Brook. Brook also gets, like Nami, a 300 million berry increase from 83 million to 383 million. After Brook for character is going to be Frankie. Frankie also gets a 300 million berry bounty increase from 94 million to 394 million. And in Frankie's case, it also has the additional wanted poster change. And it's just the Sun Ego, which is foul. That's very foul. But as I explained before in my first take video, the wanted poster change for Frankie is based on the bad ending timeline for Frankie that Oda draws for some of the characters. So 70-year-old Frankie in the bad ending, in the bad timeline, is just a ship. So so Oda actually made the Sun Ego into Frankie's wanted poster. But I'll be fair though. This bounty raise, to me, doesn't make much sense at all. Because Frankie beat Sasaki, a guy with a 472 million berry bounty, clean. This dude didn't get a single power-up, as far as we can tell. He didn't get a single power-up from the beginning of the time skip, and he still beat Sasaki. Now, I guess you could argue, well, that's with the Frankie Shogun. So Frankie minus the Frankie Shogun equals 394 million. I'm not really buying it. I think that, honest to God, Frankie should have a much higher bounty than what he has right now. Frankie, I think, should be, honestly, in the 500 millions. Honestly. But he gets the standard 300 million berry increase, like the vast majority of the Straw Hats, which also includes Usopp. So for characters, Usopp, and Usopp gets a 300 million berry bounty rise from 200 million to 500 million. This is the same bounty that Usopp had in Dressrosa when he gained the title of God, and he's living up to the name now in earnest, that 5-star name. So that is a pretty cool parallel on Oda's part to give Usopp that same bounty. And now we have, oh boy, staggering numbers here. Robin. Robin gets a huge 800 million berry bounty increase from 130 million to 930 million berry. Robin has now surpassed Usopp as the 5th highest bounty on the Straw Hat crew. And Robin is right now the 3rd highest female bounty of any character in the series. Ahead of her so far is, well, number 1, of course, Big Mom, and number 2, Smooth Thick, but only 2 million behind Smooth Thick. Robin, the 3rd highest female bounty in the entire series. Wow. Oh man, dude. Real quick, I'm not gonna say that Robin is as powerful on paper, as powerful as someone like Smoothie, but Robin did beat Black Maria, and Black Maria is the second highest bounty of all of the Flying Six at 490 million some odd, and she one-shotted Black Maria. She broke her back with a jacuzzi, one-tapped her, even though Yamato's on the crew. If there's going to be a powerful female fighter in the future, like for example, a Katarina Devon, maybe Robin could really go, at that point in time, 1v1 against Katarina Devon. Maybe. Let's wait and see what happens in the future. Let's wait and see. Now, after this, we have, for character, Sanji. Sanji gets a 702 million berry bounty increase from 330 million to 1,032 million. His bounty is based on his birthday, which is March 2nd. And also, Sanji's bounty name has been changed back from Vinsmoke Sanji to Black Leg Sanji. Why is that the case? No idea. He did hate that Vinsmoke name typed to his wanted poster though. He did hate that name. And he should be pleased with that, for sure. However, my boy is pissed off for a whole set of other reasons, which makes him, and of course me, very sad. Very, very sad. But lastly, for Sanji wanted poster, if you zoom into the panel where Sanji dives at Robin, we can actually make out what looks like Sanji's new wanted poster picture. And it looks like the first one, the drawn one, the crappy one, but it's flipped to match his current look. This one, I'm not too sure if that's actually the case, like completely the case, because it wasn't brought up by Sanji. However, if that is the case, then I'd argue it's not really creative on Oda's part to give Sanji that sort of meme wanted poster picture. Just the one he had before in the pre-time skip, but flipped around for his current design. I feel like we can do better than that, honestly, for a meme. I really do. But that is Sanji for character. After Sanji is Jinbei. Jinbei gets a 662 million berry bounty rise from 438 million to 1,100 million. After him is going to be, of course, Zoro. Zoro gets a 791 million berry bounty increase from 330 million to 1,111 million. The scans actually got the bounty number wrong. The scans say 1,100,000,000,1100. No, that in fact is wrong. It is 1,111,000,000. And his bounty is also based on his birthday, which is November 11th. Now there's actually one last detail involving Zoro here for his bounty. When Zoro got his bounty increased in Dressrosa in chapter 801 to 320 million, it just had the moniker Pirate Hunter. But now it looks like they add the title Master Swordsman to Zoro's bounty. Based on the Dressrosa one, It wasn't there as far as I understand. But based on the new one now, he has the title of Master Swordsman. That is very interesting. And I think it's actually very likely that other top tier swordsmen, like for example, someone like Vista, I think he may actually have a Master Swordsman on his wanted poster as well. Maybe. So that is overall character for the Straw Hats. And moving on for the Straw Hats, we have Mr. 3. Mr. 3 and Buggy's crew. Alvida, Richie, Kabaji, and Moji, where they have been with Buggy for 2 years as crew members. But unfortunately for Buggy, they have no qualms at all betraying this dude. Rip, it's a cold world. That's how Buggy's clique rolls. And in fact, Mr. 3 may just say, hey, Buggy, I'm done with you, and follow Crocodile wherever he goes. Something like that. Let's see how that pans out in the future. After this, hefty. It is Dracula Mihawk. So at one point in time in the past, Mihawk had the title Naval Hunter, the moniker Naval Hunter. It does sound as good as Marine Hunter in the scans, but nonetheless, Naval Hunter. A very similar title to Zoro, who hunted down pirates for a living in the East Blue, and was very successful at hunting down pirates, therefore he got the moniker Pirate Hunter. So we have no idea when Mihawk got the title of Marine Hunter, or why Mihawk was hunting down Marines in the first place. But it is a window to his character that has opened up. And for his character, they have been for the most part shut. And this Naval Hunter title, moniker, might also tie into what Crocodile mentioned about Mihawk, where Mihawk, he, like Crocodile, does distrust, apparently, other people. Though that's not fully the case here, because he does, I guess, trust Perona. She's always around him. Now, some people during my stream for the chapter reaction were saying that Mihawk was the one who cut off Zephyr's arm, the main villain of One Piece Film Z. But that is not correct. The person who cut off Zephyr's arm is actually apparently a person that had a Delphin ability and was also invited to be a warlord during the 3D2Y time skip. This person, therefore, cannot be Mihawk. But Mihawk is confirmed to have greater sword skills than Shanks. Fat W for your boy, because I've been saying for years. In particular, I said in my video 2+ years ago, which was titled Shanks versus Mihawk, the reason why Shanks is stronger than Mihawk, a One Piece discussion. So in that video, and what I've been saying for years prior, has finally come to pass. After this, we have Mihawk's bounty. Mihawk has a bounty of 3,590,000,000 as one of the chief officers of the Cross Guild. He has the highest bounty for all of the former warlords so far. Because remember, Blackbeard is a former warlord, and but since we have never found out what Mihawk's bounty was in the past before it was frozen, or when it was frozen, it's hard to tell how much of a bounty increase this is for Mihawk. But not necessarily impossible, because we can assume, based on their past and their relationship, that he had a similar bounty that Shanks did in the past. And when Shanks was going into the East Blue, he had a bounty of around 1 billion. So we can assume then that the bare minimum, this bounty increase for Mihawk is at least over 2 billion, because around the time his bounty got frozen when he became a warlord, he might have had a bounty around 1 billion. And then finally, some characterization for Mihawk. Mihawk is a very shrewd person. He was the one to actually make the call to have Buggy be the fall guy. He himself does not want to be emperor and live the quiet life. Have Buggy take all the notoriety being a Yonko, have him be the face of it, so he gets all the heat. I'm very surprised that it was Mihawk who made that call and not Crocodile. That did surprise me. So Mihawk is a lot more shrewd than I thought he was. Oh, I like seeing that. And that is Mihawk's character for this chapter. After Mihawk, we have Sir Crocodile. When Crocodile mentions his distrust of others, I think that's a direct callback to Alabasta. When he stabbed Rob with the claw through the back of her chest, he said in chapter 203, I never trusted anyone from the start. But there is a caveat, at least I think, and that's Mr. 1. Mr. 1 is still chilling with Crocodile years later. So I think if anything, he does trust Mr. One, at least way more so than other people, duh. But I did like that callback to that moment when he did stab Robin way back when. After this for Crocodile, we have his bounty. Crocodile's bounty is 1,965,000,000 berries, yo. As one of the officers of the Cross Guild, he gets a bounty that high. A staggering rise from the pre-time skip where his bounty was a measly 81 million. He has risen by 1,884,000,000. That's, yo, whoa. And his bounty at this point in time is higher. Katakuri, King the Wildfire, and Marco the Phoenix. His bounty is higher than all three of them. Whoa. That's, my God. After Crocodile, but hold on, real quick too, the hockey stuff. Here's the thing. When we see Crocodile on that ship, destroying the ship with Mr. One, some folks are saying that he is using armament hockey hardening to coat the sand. But I think that's wrong. In fact, the shading for the sand that we see, it does lack a lot of that sheen, that luster that you get with armament hockey hardening. And then also I checked on the wiki just in case, and even they don't have Crocodile as a hockey user just yet. With Crocodile on the ship, it appears to be the same problem with Robin and her Demonio Fleur, where it's not hockey, it's shading. But folks can easily confuse it to be hockey. After Crocodile is Buggy, Buggy gets a 3,189,000,000 berry bounty as the leader of the Cross Guild. He is number 2 behind Shanks. But again, that is the current Yonko standings, because I have my eyes on Blackbeard, and there's a good chance that Blackbeard is actually well past 3 billion. There's a very good chance. And also, very important here too, even though Mihawk has a higher bounty than Buggy, Buggy is still the Yonko and still the leader of the Cross Guild. Based on how Oda's been writing the story so far with the Yonko stuff and the bounties, Luffy's current Yonko status, as well as Buggy's, do not affect their actual bounty number. It is added prestige for the individual, so they're more valuable than a guy with the same bounty or even higher bounty as a Yonko, but apparently the actual Yonko status, based on Luffy and Buggy, therefore applying that same model to, let's say, Kaido, Big Mom, Shanks, Blackbeard, apparently them being Yonko didn't and doesn't really affect their actual number bounty that much, if at all, which is weird, but that's what Oda's doing. Okay, it is what it is. And then finally for character, Bartholomew Kuma. Ooh, haven't said that name in a long time. Bartholomew Kuma, baby. Kuma listens to the commands of Monkey D. Dragon. In Kuma's programming, I believe he is supposed to follow the orders of the world government particularly. So you have to wonder, hold on now, why is Kuma now obeying the commands of Monkey D. Dragon? Of course, it could mean he himself is a Tenryubito. Maybe he himself in the past did have a high standing in the world government. Or maybe it even involves Luffy's mother. Uh-oh. Or Vegapunk written in his code. This may require a quick but potentially necessary discussion video for the future. And that is it when it comes to the character component section for this chapter. And now, people, finally, we have ourselves the story progression component for this chapter. Number 1, Germa Double Shiksu, assisted by Caesar Clown, and Caesar Clown, like we all thought, he wants to go on Germa's snail boats, which means that part of Mads will be back in action. Oh, Katakuri saw last chapter was like, of course he was. He was destroying Niji, destroying Ichiji. However, Caesar Clown, come in there, smoke screen, some of that sword. Let's go, guys. I need to join your kingdom. So Ichiji and Niji potentially saved. But remember, we know that Brule was talking to Cracker, so this whole thing with the cover story may not be over just yet. After that, the new Straw Hat bounties for story. Big tidal waves. And now, the combined bounty of the entire Straw Hat crew is 8,816,000,000. Oh, wow. What a rise. What a rise. The Straw Hat crew is looking absolutely phenomenal as it is. Absolutely outstanding. And you love to see it. You definitely do. After the Straw Hat stuff, we do have the Cross Guild stuff, how it formed. We have, of course, Crocodile contacting Mihawk, going over to Buggy's place, and then we have the Flyers, the Buggy's boys. We love you both, yeah. And then boom, that's how it all formed. And we have the bounties of Sir Crocodile, Draco Mihawk, and the lead man Buggy. The total of the Cross Guild so far is actually 8,848,000,000. So it's actually slightly higher than the total bounty of the Straw Hats right now. Wow. After this stuff with the Cross Guild forming and the bounties of the Cross Guild, we have the Rev. Morley, Limburg, and Karasu have returned to Kamabaka with Kuma. These boys looking squeaky clean. Next month, ayo, I promise you, Sabo and a few good men, merchandise will be available. It's happening. I will make it a reality. Like what Blackbeard said, dreams will never end. I will make this into a reality. I promise you that. After that, we have Dragon. Dragon talks about a, quote, reckoning, end quote, between himself and Sabo if Sabo actually killed King Cobra. Fascinating. A reckoning. Because mind you, Sabo's name right now is on par with Dragon's name when it comes to the Rev. And people are actually rallying behind Sabo. Is it possible to where there could be some infighting between Dragon and Sabo? I have my doubts. I definitely do. But it is intriguing that Dragon puts that much stake into King Cobra. Maybe in the past there was a Dragon and King Cobra meeting because maybe King Cobra and Dragon had very similar objectives. Oh, there's a lot there that could be unpacked, definitely, without a doubt. The chapter ends off with Sabo with that calling in, call picks up, kacha. We have the Marines typing the call. What? Is that the Flame Emperor? Bakana. And then Sabo, it's me. So next chapter, we should find out what's going on with Sabo. Where is Sabo? And more importantly, is Sabo with Vivi? But that is it for the story progression components for this chapter. So, final thoughts and overall rate for this chapter. I thought this was a very, very good chapter. Obviously, Stride Bounties, you'll love to see it. We get the Strides in their own style, reacting to their wanted posters and their new bounties. We are going to a new island, which again, that sense of adventure is brought back into the story right now in a big way. Things I have said before in the past, years ago, pertaining to, of course, one Dracula Mihawk, are coming to light to be absolutely true in the story, and I love to see it. Very impressed with Mihawk's bounty, Crocodile's bounty, and of course, Buggy's bounty. And obviously, the stuff involving the Rev, very good stuff here too. The story is moving forward in a big way. Dragon and Kuma, how can he talk? Various things that require various videos in the future, obviously. And there's a week break. So yeah, I have things to do without a doubt. A very busy boy. So I thought for damn sure this chapter was far superior than the last chapter. Because the last chapter I thought was a 6 out of 10 at best, more like a 5 or a 4, honest to God. But this chapter, even though the pace is a bit odd, for character and story, muy bueno. An easy 8 out of 10 for this week's chapter of One Piece.